How did Siddhartha become Buddha? Born in Lumbini, presently in Nepal, in the year 53 BC to Queen Maya and King Suddhodana, who was a leader of a large clan called the Shakya. His birth name was Siddhartha Gautama. Unfortunately, his birth mother died shortly after his birth, after which his stepmother Gautami took care of his upbringing. There was a strong belief amongst the then learned scholars of the kingdom that the boy would either grow up to be a great king, a military leader, or a great spiritual leader. The king, fearing that his son would get attracted to the spiritual aspects of life, did not allow him to even step out of the palace, and therefore, being confined to the palace, he was overloaded with nothing but the pleasures and luxuries of princely life. King Suddhodana aspired his son to become a great king and hence kept him away from all the worldly sufferings and the harsh realities of life, as also the spiritual and religious aspects. But as destiny had it, one day Prince Siddhartha asked his charioteer to take him on a tour of the city. While traveling through the city, he came across an old man, a sick man, a dead man, and a holy man without a home, ascetic. The prince, who had been oblivious to the truths of life and death, had all of a sudden confronted the concepts of death, sickness, old age, and asceticism. The charioteer told the prince that some people renounce their worldly pleasures in search of answers to the reasons behind the sufferings faced by mankind. Prince Siddhartha was very disturbed by all these sights. He started to evaluate the very reason of his existence. The king was very upset by all these happenings, and hence decided to push Siddhartha into family life, which he hoped would do the trick. His father got him married at a young age of 16 years to a young girl named Yashodhara, who was of the same age too. For some time the prince got involved in his family life, but his subconscious mind never forgot those disturbing scenes. On one starry night, he left his wife and newborn son Rahul along with all the princely pleasures in search of the ultimate truth. Siddhartha was barely 29 years old when he left his palace in search of answers to self-realization. He followed a life of self-discipline and extreme austerity in terms of food habits, sleep, and daily lifestyle. The result being that his body started to give up slowly. He had to deal with a lot of physical sufferings. He started off as a lone traveler in this quest, but later on he gained the support of 5 men who eventually became his ardent followers. Many months passed. His starvation and self-denial proved futile in his attempt to find answers to his questions. Then something happened which turned the course of events for him. After several days of starvation, he decided to get some food for himself. He accepted a small bowl of rice from a young girl in the neighborhood. This was the turning point for him when he realized that following harsh lifestyle and severe austerity did not serve any purpose. Achieving a balance between spiritual path and worldly life is the need of the hour. His focus shifted to achieving a path of balance, but his followers misunderstood him for having gone back to worldly pleasures and so deserted him. Siddhartha never lost his focus. He believed that self-reflection, meditation, is the best way to connect with the soul. He made up his mind to meditate until he had found enlightenment. He chose a fig tree, now called the Bodhi tree, and started meditating and promised himself not to move until he found answers to his spiritual quest. In his deep meditation mode he saw his entire life happenings and that of previous births too. It is said that after 49 days of meditation, he finally got an answer to his questions. He obtained pure enlightenment, and in that moment of enlightenment, Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha, he who is awake. At the time of his enlightenment he gained complete insight into the reasons of suffering and how the humans could escape all this trauma.